everyone. Good morning and welcome to Wow Wednesday. I am your host for this show, Nancy Matthews, one of the founders of Women's Prosperity Network. And we've been bringing you this midweek boost of motivation, education, and inspiration to support you in consistently moving forward, staying in momentum, taking daily steps towards your visions and goals, and having fun in the process. And today I have the opportunity to introduce you to and/or welcome back a longtime friend, colleague, and contributor in the Women's Prosperity Network community. Jill Lublin is in the house today. Yeah. And she's going to be sharing with us on how to rock your publicity for 2025. And right before I bring her on, let me share a couple of updates in the wonderful world of Women's Prosperity Network. And I'll start by later this afternoon, we're going to be hosting a workshop that we call a six-figure blueprint. We know that you're probably in the phase of mapping out what you want 2025 to look like, what your activities are that will support you achieving your goals and dreams. So be sure to join us this afternoon. You can simply go to our events calendar and get the information on that. This Friday, I am hosting a leadership masterclass on how to increase your capacity to be the leader of that vision. Because if you cast this big vision, but you're not being the person to move that forward, then you run into some challenges. And you can get there by going to nancymatthews.com/masterclass. And that's absolutely free. So join me this Friday. I'm also doing it on Tuesday. So see what date works best for you. And then, of course, every month we've got our networking with a twist and our brilliance brainstorming and breakthroughs mastermind. So be sure to just visit the Women's Prosperity Network events calendar and come on out and connect with this amazing community of like-minded and like-spirited women who are focused on making a positive difference in their communities, in their world. It's like we're here to make the world a better place. And we need to have more people know about what you're doing. And that's why we invited Jill, so that you can be known and get your business out there, the difference maker that you are, helping more and more people. So welcome, Jill. I am so grateful that you're here, and I'm looking forward to our conversation today.
Thank you, Nancy. It's always such a delight to be with you and all my WPN sisters.
Yes. And we've known each other since I think 2008 or 2009. We've been working together. It's so beautiful. And for those who don't know Jill, let me tell you a little bit about her and her background. She is a 25-year media magnet. I love that. She's a world-renowned publicity expert, international speaker, and 4 times best-selling author. She has made thousands of stage appearances alongside celebrities such as Tony Robbins, Barbara Kerkorian, and Jack Canfield, to name just a few. She has worked with over, get this, 100,000 clients, implementing her signature formula for getting media attention, creating next level visibility in the marketplace, and that results in boosted sales, right? That's why we're doing this stuff, making the changes, right? These lead and profit generating formulas are included in her signature program, which is called the Media Mastery Intensive, plus also in her monthly kindness circle. Welcome, Jill.
Thank you, Nancy. I'm so excited to rock your world for 2025 and help you get publicity for all of you.
Yes. So where do we start? There's like, I want to be out there more. I want to be asked to be on stages and in the media. Like, where do we start?
Well, I think the most important place to start is to get your message right. And I'm talking your media message, not another kind of message, but really a message that the media can say yes to. That's really a focus. And also another place to really start that's simple also is in your own backyard, where the media does love you to be seen, to be heard, and you can more easily, shall I say, reach them they really do want you. So those would be two places to start quickly. And in the message, that's really important to get it a foundation that you can say it anywhere, anytime in the media, no matter what, so that's a real key too.
Right. So we're talking about that, what is often referred to as your elevator pitch or that quick sound bite that's going to really have people hooked and want to learn more.
Exactly. And in fact, I want you to think of it like really a hook and more like a sound bite. If you go like this, everybody, that helps. What is a sound bite? I like that, right? Yes, yes. A sound bite is the opportunity to present your message in just really simple ways. And I want you really to start speaking in 5-year-old language so that other people can understand you and make it really simple. And it really, when you watch the news and you look at what people are saying, it is simple information delivered quickly. There's not big jargony words. There's not, things that other people don't understand. So really simplify your language will actually make a big difference for the media and in your networking and all kinds of other great places.
So I think that I've noticed this with myself as well as the clients I've worked with, as we advance in our level of expertise, we tend to use language that's in that, category or the vernacular that the experts in that niche are used to using. And it actually creates a separation between the people that you want to actually be serving because they don't talk like that.
Not only do they not talk like that, but frankly, they don't understand it. And why they're coming to you is to solve problems. And why the media wants to interview you is because you solve problems. You create differences in the marketplace, and you are a contribution. And that's really what I want you to remember is your expertise, your contribution, and the fact that other people need and must hear you. And the reality is when you're seen and heard, you're the one that people remember. And that's the power of media to, shall I say, keep on giving and actually deliver you quickly to a large group fast. That's why I love it. It's really one to many. And your credibility and expertise is really elevated, that you are hang on, wait for it, the star that you did. Right? And I love props, by the way, because I think they make good points and they help people to understand something simple from you. So just keep that in mind, everybody. And especially if you're being interviewed. And listen, a lot of the interviews are now on Zoom. And I think it's really important. And I do want to talk about this whenever you'd like to, but I really want to talk about using all parts of who we are. Should we just
Let's do that now. Free flowing conversation. And let me mention, as you're listening in, you're probably going to have some questions along the way. And we are going to open up towards the second half of our show today to give you the opportunity to ask some questions. So jot them down. You got an expert here. Take advantage of it. But yeah. All right. So let's dive into this next topic about using all parts of who you are.
Yes, which is, I like to call it use everything you've got. So what do I mean by that? I mean, pay attention. Check out, for instance, nationaldaycalendar.com. Look to see the holidays that are excellent for who you are or perhaps what you do or who you serve. So, for instance, I've written 4 books, as you heard from my intro, one of which is The Profit of Kindness. By the way, notice, yes, all of my books are right behind me. Can we see, do we know what you do when you're appearing, when you're being interviewed?
Look what I learned from you.
Exactly. And it was recently World Kindness Day. So based on my book, The Profit of Kindness, and by the way, I can easily turn and show that to you. Yes, that's a demonstration of a product. You don't have to have a book to get publicity. You just have to have a great message to get publicity. However, when World Kindness Day was happening, I literally got on, I'm so excited, Fox Dallas, which is the 3rd major market in the United States, as well as Fox News in the Bay Area, talking about kindness, talking about how it implements and impacts our life. Well, guess what, my friends? That's tied into publicity. How would I tie into publicity? Because kind companies get more publicity. That could be a tie-in. What I'm saying, though, is I utilized World Kindness Day, and guess what? In February, it's Random Acts of Kindness Week, and I will still go out again for that. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take a contrary position, and I'm going to say, forget random acts of kindness. Let's practice conscious acts of kindness every single day. And could we all imagine a difference the world would make if we did that? One a day, please. Everybody do it. Watch the world change.
Yeah.
Yeah. And with that,
I have a question. I
sure.
have a question. So I go to National Day Calendar and I find something like World Kindness Day, Random Act of Kindness Day. How do I actually get to the media to have them have me on their show? And how far in advance do you need to do those things?
Yeah. So I like to plant a publicity garden. For that, I brought you sunflowers. My favorite. I want you to plant a garden, right? And I want you to think about publicity as a gardening process. So look ahead 3, 6, 9 months ahead, typically, because the media does plan. Now, with the exceptions being oh my gosh, there's a major event happening or something is going on, and we want to focus on different holidays, different times of the year that you could come out. And I want you to think about, if you're Hispanic Heritage Month, right? Black History Month. I want you to think about different holidays, International Women's Day, perhaps. And, it's really about taking yourself out there in different times and waving your publicity flag, right? And creating a visibility campaign. And one of the things I want you to think about publicity is that it is visibility building activities. And I really recommend 30 minutes a week. 30 minutes a week. That's very doable, my friends. And if you need to cut it into 15-minute segments, then do that. But if you do that every single week, I promise you momentum and the creation of much more name recognition. 30 minutes per week, okay? So that's a piece. You want to be looking ahead and then focusing every week on building momentum. Now, that could be reaching out. And, I'll tell you, most people lose the publicity game because they're not doing systems and processes to keep creating visibility. It's like everything in business. And I'm big on systems and processes. And part of, if you're focused every week, you're going to be doing that. And you're also going to be looking ahead with your PR antennas that you can be creating that visibility ongoingly. And, it is interesting because then you do get known and seen as the trusted expert, which is what publicity is doing. And so some of that is really zooming into topics, what I like to call hot topics. And there's a lot of them right now. That's good news. And then we want to look for what might be interesting. And Nancy, I remember coming to you, a few years ago with a hot topic around can a Democrat date a Republican or a Republican date a Democrat? One of our dating coaches got on Fox News all day long talking about that.
Yes. And then, recently, with what's happened with the United Healthcare, the man being assassinated, basically, I had another client that I said, hey, I think this might be a hot topic to create those conversations. So paying attention to the headlines and what's happening in mainstream media and thinking about how can you contribute or add value to that conversation.
Exactly. And it really is about adding value, but it's also about letting people know that this is what you speak of. And I'll tell you, for most of you, getting on podcasts, for example, is the perfect place to start. Podmatch, just join it, get on it. I think really it's a great link to support you with really fast opportunities. And what I love about really fast opportunities like podcasts is now you can not only speak and be seen, and then of course get publicity because they're going to promote you and you're going to promote you, and it reaches farther and wider, but also it supports you to get your sound bites down and get focused on your message. And I'll just remind all of you that you control your message. You control your message. I'm going to tell you, when I walked into that Fox News studio, and by the way, early with full makeup and ready to go, and one of the things I asked the producer right away was, number one, may I see my name and how are you spelling it? Make sure, I know this is funny, but that your name is spelled correctly, and you've got what's called a chyron under your name. How do you want to be known? You need to have your chyron, that's what it's called, ready and simple, so that everybody can rinse and repeat it, right? And
So what's a chyron? That's a new term for me.
oh, great. So it's CHIRON, just so you know.
Okay.
And what it is the how you want to be called. So you notice in my bio, I have you call me the media magnet. And in my chyron, if I have something under my name, it says media magnet, 4-time best-selling author, international speaker. Now that's the long one. If somebody's interviewing me for Guerrilla Publicity, it will say author, Guerrilla Publicity. And so we need to actually tell the media how you want to be billed, is how I like to say it. And be ready for that, because frankly, they're going to follow your direction and you need to give direction. So one of the things, and yeah, you got to be a little bit, like, hey, you spelling my name right? And, speaking
Absolutely.
of, yeah, and I want your name congruent. If your name is Mary Jane, it's got to be Mary Jane and everything, not Mary and sometimes Mary Jane. So this happens a lot with both men and women, to have your name consistent in every forum and format. So a chyron is really what you want to be called, and quick and easy. And then just, really simple things. So again, when I was in the studio, I brought my book. Make sure you have your product in front of you, with you, and connected. And I said to him, you know what, I sat there and held my book, so that every shot, guess what you saw? The Prophet of Kindness. And I'm just really pointing this out, because if you watch, listen, I see this on CNN, I see this all over, people being interviewed, and then one guy actually had arches of his books. I thought that was kind of super fun. But you got to present your product and service. If you're a consultant, have a banner with you, presenting, consulting, being in front of people. If you're a speaker, same thing. So really have people know what you do, simple and easy, and that's something important.
Very good, very good. So the chyron is that what you put in that lower third that they'll put across the bottom of the screen while you're on the shot. Now, yeah, really good. So in terms of that chyron and what you say in there, I heard you switched it up depending upon what you were asked to speak on. So if you're on Guerrilla Publicity, you might bring that book with you and have that in the bottom, really highlighting knowing what the audience is and knowing what the topic is. I'm curious, because I think to myself, I don't know what's the best thing to put in my chyron. So do you work with people to get clear on their media sound bites, their messaging? Like, because it sounds good, but you also need to workshop this a little bit, right?
Yes, you do. Yeah, we actually do it in my media mastery intensives. I do it personally with people. It's actually one of my, I like to say, God-given gifts, is that I have an ability, seriously, to kind of go deep with people and quickly find a soundbite. In fact, one of your members, Tiana, she says to me she still has and uses a soundbite that I wrote out on a napkin for her, because for me it just really comes through me, and I think that that's really a key, because we, and I include me and all of us, are in our own box, and sometimes it really takes someone to look in and go, that's who you are, right? And it's often what I find with a lot of my clients, it's not always what you get attached to, it's what people remember and can latch onto. And that's why they call it a soundbite, right? Something that people can remember. And remember, I told you I have systems. So one of my systems is that you look at your message every 30 days, and and make sure that number one, it's integral to you, resonant for you, that you can say it anywhere, anytime, and show up with it and be excited by it and feel it, right? I think that's important because, media builds trust. You are the featured expert. They're interviewing you. There's an immediate trust, but I'm going to tell you, you got 4 minutes on an average, big
Yeah.
show. You got maybe 30 minutes on a podcast, and you better deliver your points fast and focused. You got to be clear what your message is. And one of the things, Nancy, I just want to address this for people is that you need to actually slow down. I don't know if you notice that I talk fairly slowly and articulately and concisely and precisely. Now, some of that is practice, but I have to tell you, I really had to slow down my speech because I talk like a New York minute if you just give me a moment. and
especially be conscious of this when you're on a podcast or being in the media, because I know for me, I would be a little bit more anxious. And when I get anxious, I tend to speed up and I don't breathe properly. And then that just does not bode well.
Exactly. And you know what? People can respond to you better. And that's the point that's why my main message to all of you is have 3 main points, not 5 and 7, please. Save those for the articles. And even the articles, in an average article, I love people to have at least one good article. That's another good point why I'm talking about it. Have one good article ready to go at all times. 500 words. That's it. Simple, easy, and focused with maybe 3 main points. I like 3, speaking in 3 because people can remember it. And it's just not so much over information. People already have enough information. Just give them things they can actually remember and keep it in soundbite format, easy and simple.
So tell me about this article ready to go. What do you mean by that?
So what you want is, like I like how-tos, and frankly, so do most people. They like how-to. So how to, how to sell your home if you're a real estate person. If you're a coach, how to rock 2025. If you're a health person, how to increase your health quickly. And you want to give people 3 simple steps. Something to actually do. So one of the things, and this is in your interviews too, sprinkle golden nuggets. We're doing it with you today, right now. I am telling you very specific things. We're doing very specific focus. Have an article that's 500 words. Have 3 main messages. You notice we're doing very focused, simple tips all throughout this interview. And that's always what you want to do for people. You want to give them value and benefit. And I remember when I wrote Guerrilla Publicity, we're in our 3rd edition now because, hey, everybody loves a good excuse to create a new publicity campaign. And I will tell you, if you have a book, new editions are excellent ways to create new visibility. Just saying.
10th anniversary edition right here.
Exactly. Exactly. And speaking of anniversaries, so is that. That's a great excuse. An anniversary, a new launch, a new program. All of these are perfect times to create publicity and visibility. And I think that that's really key. And then Nancy, go back. You asked me a specific question on that.
I asked you a specific question. I don't remember what it was at this point.
That's okay. We'll just keep moving. But you know what? That's a great example, right? Right there is, here's the truth. If somebody asks you a question and you don't know the answer, I'm talking about in media, like just let's say, okay, let me just tell one on me. I remember being in a studio. This was an ABC TV studio. And it was when, what was it? Get Noticed, Get Referrals came out. And I had booked this like 8 months in advance. And next thing you know, they're asking me, now this is a referral making book, and yet all of a sudden the producer is asking me, how do you get a job? Well, yes, you use referrals to get a job, but it was a tough market right then. Things had shifted and changed. And all of a sudden I'm being asked that. Now, she didn't warn me in the green room. Yes, they actually have a green room, and no, it isn't green. But she didn't warn me in the green room that I was going to talk about that, and I have to tell you, she threw a curveball. And one of the things is if somebody throws that curveball or asks you a question that perhaps you don't want to answer, let me just say, great question, Nancy. You know what I want to share about how to get publicity is you bring it back to your main topic and
Well,
get on that bridge and walk across it and don't worry about the questions because
yeah.
here's the truth. You know what media wants? They want a good interview. If you deliver great quality and good information, you're a good interview. That's all you
No.
need to be concerned about.
Yesterday I was being interviewed yesterday for an upcoming movie, more to be disclosed on that later. And I was asked a question and I had no experience with that. So I said, to tell you the truth, I really haven't had that kind of experience. But what I can tell you is da 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 da. Right. So not letting yourself get rattled. And this is practice once again. That's why we want to keep in this conversation and nail your message, workshop it so that you feel comfortable to handle those curveballs when they get thrown your way instead of going, oh, I don't know what to do. Right.
Yeah, and here's the other truth. You might be able to just quickly ignore it and just say, I want to just shift to one topic and explain da 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 da. You can do that.
Good one. Good
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
And here's what I wanted to finish in a comment to you was when I wrote Guerrilla Publicity, I remember I interviewed the editor of Entrepreneur Magazine. And imagine this, all of you in Entrepreneur Magazine, perfect place, just saying. And she said, really, I don't care about everything fancy in the media. I want a good story that's going to give value and benefit for our readers. And I'll tell you what I took from that. I remember always, and I always want to share with all of you, which is the most important thing that the media needs and wants from all of you is, frankly, value and benefit to their readers,
Right.
watchers, listeners. That's what they want. So give
Yes.
that to them.
Right. They want you to be such a good guest that the audience is going, oh, that show always has the best people on it.
Right.
Right.
Right. And then that people stay tuned in and that they're
Yeah.
interested. And, again, and I take my lessons from major media. And frankly, I also think, like I said, it's a great, not only opportunity for you to get constant podcast, because that is media. And I'll tell you something, I am so excited by media now because I think there are so many opportunities, so many more. Listen, I've been doing this for close to 30 years. And let me tell you, it is easier to get media now than it has ever been because of all the plethora of blogs and podcasts that every major station has, not only their main interviews, but also you're kept on the website forever. Everything's got like duplicates now,
Yeah.
Inc and Forbes has Inc.com and Forbes.com, and they have multiple columnists just for their online publication. So this is good news, my friends, and I want you to be heartened and excited by that because your opportunities to get media and have exposure and get seen and heard and paid are more than ever before. That is good news.
That is very good news. And it solves the number one problem I hear from most entrepreneurs. I need more clients. I need more qualified leads.
Yes.
Right. So that's what we want. We want more people to be able to serve. And you're going to post on social media and you're going to do email campaigns and you're going to do all those other tools. You're going to go networking and publicity and being in the media, this visibility of has the power to bring you more than you could ever do in these one-by-one strategies. It's so, so vital. Especially, it will set you head and shoulders above the rest who are not doing it.
Yeah. And, listen, I understand some of you might have a little bit of fear or, oh my gosh, around this. Let me tell you, practice does make perfect. You get started, you take those, little, here it is, little baby steps, and get your message right. And I'm telling you, one woman who did a 15-minute podcast, who, by the way, was scared, sold 42 of her self-published books in 15 minutes. And,
Wow.
a realtor I worked with, I remember she wouldn't even come on camera, by the way, when we first started. She was scared. I don't know what it was. She was beautiful. She was articulate. She even was successful in real estate. She knew that publicity would get her more of those qualified clients and get in real estate sections. And part of it really was, one thing I know is that when your message is in you, people start feeling that. And what happened for her is she just got more confident. And I know that as your message gets planted in you and that you keep repeating it, and it is a rinse and repeat, it is a rinse and repeat, it is a rinse and repeat. And I want you to hear that, because then no matter how you feel, what's going on, or how early it is here in California, you know that your message is going to get across because it's in you and it's resonant and congruent for who you are. So I think that makes a big difference. And that
Huge
also
difference.
increases your confidence.
Yeah. And it has you prepared when you're invited. We like to call it yes ready, ready to say yes to the invitation. Will you be on my podcast? Can you be on media? Because sometimes you might be able to book those media things, 8 months in advance. Sometimes they call you the next day. I remember we had Cece Espude on this Wow Wednesday show, 9 a.m. a few months ago. And later that day, maybe 2 hours later, she received a call from the local NBC station who saw her on my show and said, "Hey, we have this topic tonight. Can you be on the 11 o'clock news?"
Yes, and it happens quick. So
Right.
yes is the right answer, everyone. Yes, yes is the right answer. And listen, I remember teaching my media mastery intensive, and then next thing I know, I get a request, really a query from a producer who found me online. And you know what? They were changing the name of Uncle Ben's, right? And the syrup. I apologize, I can't remember the initial name. They were changing the name of these companies. And they said, well, what do you think? Is that a good idea or a bad idea? I don't know. I didn't read the news, that day because I was busy teaching. And here's what I want to tell you. Google is a beautiful thing. And so for any reason you don't know, or maybe you don't even have an opinion, Google it and see what are people saying, and then how do you feel, and then frankly, give your opinion. Because I want to just break down for you something really simple, and that media is your opinion. You are the expert, be the expert, have an opinion. That's it. And I think when you speak from your presence, your heart, your spirit, and who you are in your expertise, people are like, oh, okay, that's your opinion. That's great. That should make it easier for you.
It'll make it easier for you, and it'll make the ones who you're meant to serve rise to the top because they resonate with you, your opinion, and need your expertise. So, trying to stay, neutral and not state your opinion actually does more harm than good. I think we need to stand our ground, let people know what we stand for, so that the ones we're meant to stand with will come to us.
Yes, and Nancy, I love the fact that somebody was booked from you doing this. And this is the thing you've all got to get, is that media leads to media, right? And it is like a snowball effect. I'm from Michigan. I can talk about snow. And let me tell you, when you build that beautiful snowball, right, it keeps increasing because your momentum from media keeps increasing so that it makes more and more and more. And you want to leverage and publicize your publicity, no matter how small or big. And I'll share with you that everything counts and everything matters, right? One line, it's all good. A woman following my system walked into a consulting engagement, and he was interviewing people. She had one line following what I told her to do in the Minneapolis Star-Tribune, got the gig, right? And that was a $35,000 consulting engagement for her. He said, I Googled you and I found that you've been featured in the Minneapolis Star-Tribune. So you got to remember, it's all perception. And so when you're featured, that could be one line, it could be a podcast, it could be a blog, could be all kinds of things. Everything matters, remember. And, because she was featured, he already had her elevated in his mind and status, and frankly already just chose her. She was the one.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right. Well, we are at the point where we want to give all of you the opportunity to ask some questions of our guest today. So I'm going to get us ready for people to start asking questions. So if you're with us on Zoom, you can raise your hand. If you're here on the telephone, simply unmute yourself and then I'll bring you on when the time is right. And if you're with us on social media, you can put your question in the comment and then I'll go ahead and bring it to Jill. And as you can see, number one, the importance of publicity and having yourself in the media. You want to practice this, you want to workshop it, you want to get your sound bites attractive and that hook. And you want to join Jill for her Media Mastery Intensive. So tell everybody about that. Put in the link in the chat. So tell us about what is the Media Mastery Intensive?
Well, it's a wonderful program that gets you right in the heart of your publicity. And in the program, we workshop your message, the documents you need to actually get press. And super exciting, I actually have press there, real media, real kid, no kidding, and they are telling you what works in the media, what's hot, what's not, and then you get to actually pitch them, and then all workshop long. And these are short days. You do it from the comfort of your Zoom room, and we are really practical and tactical, and it's very focused on getting media and having it work for you with simple systems and get it done strategies. So we love it. It's very highly interactive, and I know that you'll love it too. And few hours a day, just so you know.
And the next one is happening January 30th to February 1st. So this is beautiful. You can get yourself set up with your goals, your intentions, get through the holidays, and then have all those pieces in place and say, okay, how do I get it out there? I love the timing of this.
Thank you. And I do want to say, even if you've been there, there's always new media, new things where you're at. One of the things I want to specifically orient you to is that with publicity, it is an evolutionary process. Remember the gardening analogy? It is an evolutionary process. You grow, your publicity grows, your media grows, and your message also shifts and changes as you grow your message. So
absolutely,
help you there.
I love it. I love it. So I put the link in the chat. And here's what's important. When you go to that link, and for everybody that's with us on the phone, here's the short link. It's bit.ly/Jill MMI. So all lowercase, all one word. So bit.ly/Jill MMI, which is for Jill Lublin Media Mastery Intensive. And here's the important thing. When you get to that link, she just completed one workshop. She's got the next one coming up at the end of January. So select those dates when you go to the checkout. And instead of paying $97, she did a gift for our WPN family, and it's only $47. To take advantage of that, you need to enter the coupon code WPN 47. That'll take $50 off your ticket price. For $47 to get her expertise and the opportunity to pitch to actual people in the media, you got to be crazy not to do. So do this. This will be the gift that keeps on giving to grow your business at an amazingly affordable price. So go to bit.ly/Jill MMI, and then at the checkout, enter coupon code WPN 47. So I'll be there. That's all I can say. I know I'm going to be there.
Thank you. Super excited.
Of course. Yeah. And here's the thing. I may have attended in the past, but like you said a moment ago, your message is always evolving. Your business is evolving. What's relevant in the world is evolving. And we want to create alignment for you to have the most powerful impact. And that's why I will be there as well. So thank you, Jill.
You're so welcome. It's a pleasure to serve.
All right. Well, we got lots of people here that have questions for you. I knew they would. So let me open up first for Michael. Go ahead and bring your question to Jill.
Okay, great. First off, Jill, I will say that you're spot on with everything you said there. I am one of those podcasters on Alex's platform with Podmatch, and absolutely an amazing community and platform. And I will say that even though I started my business back in 1998, I only started my podcast in the last couple of years. And the first time you were a podcast guest or host, you will not know what you're doing and just grab a microphone and start talking. And it does get easier. Over 100 episodes, and it's a lot of fun. And we've had a lot of great guests. Anyway, so the other thing I want to share with you is, as far as media, one thing that I suggest to everyone that's on the podcast, doing the podcast is super important. And the one thing to keep in mind about a podcast, most podcasters are, once the podcast is up and running, are inundated with inquiries. Everyone wants
Mm-hmm.
to be on a podcast, and there's, for the top podcasts, for every guest, there's, for every podcaster, there's maybe 50 people who would like to be on that show. So keep that in mind as you're pitching to these different podcasters. I do recommend, once you've been on a podcast, get a press release out there. It's absolutely
Great
super
idea.
important. Makes a lot of sense. I think Jill recommended that.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Thank you.
overall happy to be
Yeah.
part of the community.
Awesome. We're glad you're here, Michael. Thank you for those valuable tips. And one of the things that you want to make sure that you do is when you reach out to these shows, and Jill, chime in on this too, don't say, "Oh, I am brilliant and you need to have me on your show." Like, doesn't do it, right?
That is not the pitch. The pitch is
Yeah.
how you give value and benefit to their listeners. So thank you, Michael. That was great.
Exactly. I'll pop my
Yeah.
info
Thanks,
in the chat.
Michael.
Take care.
All right. Thank you, Michael. All right. Beautiful. So let's go ahead. Questions and comments for Jill. And Jill, before I bring on the next person with their hand up, Lisa Jackson asked about her Chiron. And she put it in the chat. She said, "How's this? Lisa Jackson, speaker, author, health coach, simple solutions to live younger, longer, heal from within, from fear to faith, think and thrive, author of that's a lot, is what I was thinking, right?"
Way too many. So Lisa, your Chiron would probably be author of Savvy Secrets, and then not even the subtitle. Okay. So just so you know, Chirons are very short. They're the feature that, by the way, when you're on podcasts, they will put this up on Riverside, on all of the ones where you are being interviewed. They will have it run across the bottom. Okay. So you want very, very quick, but author Savvy Secrets will probably be your best one, or speaker, author, health coach. That's probably what I'd say to you on that.
All right, Lisa, do you want to come on the screen, or you're good?
Yeah, thank you very much. I wrote this book over 10 years ago, Savvy Secrets, and of course I'm too wordy. Everything is too long. Even the title, 7 Steps to Optimal Health, Eat, Think, and Thrive. So I probably need to update it or relaunch it. And I was doing some media when I first got started. Now I've been too busy in my practice to work on the practice, but feeling like 2025 is the year to step out. And instead of doing one-on-one health coaching and fighting burnout all the time, doing one-to-many. And, I've got some group programs and want to start a membership and or a podcast, not sure which one, but.
Lisa, may I just give you some coaching on that? You didn't ask a specific question, but I do want to address something, and that is an easy publicity tactic for you is put out the book 2025, rock it for some publicity. It's going to be easier than doing your own podcast, just saying. And especially because the great news is you got a thriving consulting practice. And you know when you want great publicity? Yes, when you're starting. Yes, when you're midway. Yes, when you're successful, because in a way it's like you're already elevated. And so, you're already the person who's established. Then if you're establishing something, you also want to be using publicity as media. Wherever you are, you want to meet your message. You want to have the message meet where you are is a better way to say that. And Lisa, great, and congratulations to you. Let's pop up where you already are with a simple tool that you already have in place. That would be my advice to you.
Awesome.
Thank you very much. I already signed up too.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yay, perfect. All right, thank you, Lisa. Let's go ahead and bring on Latasha for our next question. Latasha, you are ready to rock and roll.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, first of all, thank you, ladies. Jill, thank you for being on and for sharing what you shared. I'm excited because, I'm a life insurance consultant. I'm a network marketer. I do all that good stuff, and I have a women's group and all that. So I haven't written any books. I haven't done that. I started, but I haven't, you get so busy. I hear people say, just do it. So I'm grateful to be here. I did sign up for your media mastery. Interestingly enough, I started a podcast, and I do have some episodes. And then I also am wanting to get out into the media. So you mentioned earlier about slow down when speaking, having 3 good points. Can you kind of elaborate on what you mean by 3 good points? Can you give me an example of what that would kind of look like?
Sure. So first of all, welcome, and I'm so glad you signed up. And I'm just want to remind you, publicity is not about just having a book. It's about promoting your services. Life insurance, you said, right?
Correct.
Guess what? The maze, as far as I'm concerned, as a consumer, it is so confusing. You're the expert who will take the confusion out of life insurance. How much should I have? What's the right amount of life insurance? So to me, your message is around the maze and confusion of life insurance. How much should you have? And then Latasha, is how you say it?
Latasha.
Okay, perfect. I would tell others, here are 3 things that you need to think about, must have when it comes to great life insurance coverage. And then you give it to them in simple forms. Here are the 3 things that I must know. If you're married, X. If you're single, Y. If you're, you know what I'm saying? And if you're in business, you must have this. To me, those would be 3 good scenarios to cover quickly, but particularly you want to give us, I think, bullet points. Like, what's the main things that people need to know without giving away the stories. And one thing I'll say to all of you, think appetizers, not full meals. That'll make a difference. And even appetizers, they're very filling and totally yummy. And you want to give, again, that yumminess, that value and benefit without over everything. Like, now they don't have to talk to you, right? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Wonderful. And I'm looking forward to your class in January.
Thank you so much. Looking forward to having you there.
Thank you.
Great question. Thank you so much, Latasha. And let me go ahead and Jill, I've got some interesting news to share. So thank you for being here. And let me just say that everybody listening in is very lucky, because when they enter coupon code WPN47, Jill, it actually zeroes it out. So everybody registering right now gets to go for free is what's happening. Wow. So you might want to fix that.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
Because $47 is still a deal, of course. So they'll get that fixed.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, but thank you. So let's get that fixed. And if you want us to send the 47, we can send the 47 after. However you want to handle that, Jill, but I thought you needed to know that that needs to be fixed. So thank you, Lisa and Peggy Lee, for pointing that out. And then also, what are the dates? Is it the 30th? Because there's one says the 31st and one says the 30th. So what are the actual dates of the upcoming boot camp?
Date is the 30th, 31st, and 1st of February. So January 30th.
Thursday. It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Right, exactly.
Perfect. Okay. Good. So it's the 30th, the 31st, and the 1st, 2 hours each day. And once again, go to bit.ly/Jill MMI and you'll go ahead and be able to register and join us. Use coupon code WPN47, and Jill will figure out so that you can pay the 47. Figure out how that needs to be. All right. Are you ready for our next question, my friend?
I am, absolutely.
All right, let me go ahead and bring on Darlene. Welcome, Darlene.
Hello, everyone. So good to be here. Let me tell you, Jill, this has been on point for what I've been planning for next year, and it's to be out there. So my question was, I've been doing newsletters that when you were talking about hitting things that are happening during the month, I've been doing newsletters in my community, and I want to expand that to hit greater audiences. How can I do that? And I've had something really phenomenal that just happened this past weekend, and I want to talk about it without sounding like I'm being braggadocious. I just received this past Sunday night the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award.
Congratulations.
And I want to add that to all that I'm doing to be able to get into those rooms, get on those podcasts, and be able to talk about how caregivers can best take care of themselves and be better. So I want to know how do I do all of these things without, I want to do it right without sounding like being braggadocious or anything like that.
Okay, first of all, I want to just say, watch that mindset. You are not being braggadocious when you will let people know about your contribution and your gift in the world and who you are. Now, I heard caregiving, so one of the things I look up is National Caregiving Month. When is it? I know it exists because I've worked a lot with caregivers. I just don't have it off the top of my head. But I would really support you in creating something that's oriented toward National Caregiving Month for sure. You definitely want to announce the Presidential Lifetime Award. Congratulations on that. You earned it, right? So that's exciting. And I have right now about 3 clients who, funny enough, have gotten that award. Super excited. And one of the things we did that was very powerful and actually worked was we had them send out more even local. They got featured in their local media. One of the things I actually cover it in my Media Mastery Intensive is an announcement strategy that goes out every 60 days announcing something big that has happened. And Darlene, that isn't braggadocious. That is a fantastic sharing of your gift and who you are in the world. I want you to reframe it and to know that who you are makes a difference, and the power to make that difference is fired up by publicity to really spread the word and then generate even more for you. So I love the fact that you're excited about this, that you're ready to rock it and expand your message. And I think one way to do that is, yes, specifically around what just happened, and then create that power of your message everywhere you can, using everything you've got. And National Caregiver Month is one of them. Black History Month is another. International Women's Day is another. You see where I'm going, and so on and so forth. Yeah. And then find other caregiving opportunities to speak about that. I think would be really supportive for you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And I did sign up for the class in January. So I'm looking forward to learning more and expanding more. Thank you so much, Jill. And thank you, Nancy.
You're welcome. My pleasure. Congratulations on the Lifetime Achievement Award. That is phenomenal, my friend. Well deserved. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful. You're welcome. All right, my friend. We also have Adele Alexander, who doesn't have her camera on, but we'll go ahead and we can bring Adele to the screen, bring her on. So Adele, do you have a question for Jill?
Good morning. Yes, I do have a question for Jill. Thank you so much for this topic. I've heard you speak before, and I just love the message. Excuse me. Yesterday, I was doing bilingual puppet shows at the Literacy Day at Ann Norton Sculpture Garden, And different people came around, took pictures of my table. There were a number of different authors and storytellers and speakers there for the kids. It's an annual event. I've been there about 10 times over the years. My question is actually this. One of the people coming around and talking to me was a writer for the Palm Beach Daily News. And I was kind of surprised, and it turned out I was one of the few people that was interviewed. And it's going to, I guess, be in maybe today. But what can I do with that to promote myself is my question.
Great
Well,
question.
first of all, you actually just, what would I say? You just underline the fact exactly what I'm talking about is that media is everywhere and you never know where you're going to run into them. So
You never know.
congratulations for getting it. Woohoo.
Yeah.
Now you want to publicize your publicity, and absolutely, your bio needs to reflect these things. Recently interviewed, it needs to go directly on your website. I would frankly pitch more Florida press, including your local ABC, NBC, CBS radio and television affiliates. And I think that would be fabulous. And then intentionally also, I would tell you, let's spread the word nationwide and pick up, one of the things media is really good at is they'll pick up those quick sound bites, that interesting thing about you, see what nugget they picked up, and then let's spread that one wider and more, I think would be excellent.
Okay. Sounds great.
Congratulations.
Awesome.
And then,
Yes.
Yeah.
oh, one other thing. I'm sorry. I heard 2 languages. So whatever other language, I want you to start publicity in that area, perhaps too.
Yeah.
I have a client. He gets featured in the Chinese Times, and we just translate everything into Chinese because that's who he is, right? So use everything you've got. That's another great example.
It's a particularly fun for me because I am an immigrant to this country myself, but I find that children are very shy about learning and speaking that other language because sometimes other kids will make fun of them, and I tell them, no, you're bilingual. And I go into how important it is to know 2 languages and what a gift it is to be able to learn it at the knee of your grandparents who speaks the language naturally. So, yes.
Love that.
Fabulous.
Love that.
Thank you.
Awesome. Great. Congratulations, Adele. I love what you're up to,
Yeah.
continuously making a difference. So thank you, Adele.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right, my friends, this was a power-packed Wow Wednesday. Now y'all know why we call it Wow Wednesday. Look what happened.
Wow, pow Wednesday.
Absolutely. So Jill, thank you for joining us, and thank you for making the Media Mastery Intensive available to our community at a special price. Remember, everyone, go to bit.ly/Jill MMI. And then when you get there, you'll click through to register, even though it shows the December dates because it just passed. She's got another one coming up at the end of January. When you click through, you'll be able to select the January date and enter code WPN47, and it will bring it down to $47, or it might bring it to $0 until she gets it fixed. But we'll figure out all those pieces. And I will see you at the Media Mastery Intensive. My friend Jill, thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you, and I appreciate all you do to help us make the world a better place through publicity and through media and through kindness.
Thank you so much, Nancy. And thank you so much for everything you do. And I want to just remind all of you that your message matters. So good to be with all of you.
Awesome. Have an amazing day, everyone. We'll see you again at our next Wow Wednesday, or perhaps even better beforehand at one of the upcoming events we've got. Have an amazing day, y'all. Bye, everyone. Bye, Jill.